I'd like to give you a short demonstration of how I do field sketching. So if you have a telescope, it's a great benefit because you don't need to hold it. And what I'm doing now is I've got a bird in the scope and I'm quickly looking at the bird and then looking down to try to put down as much as I can remember of what I see onto the paper. So the trick is to retain the image in your mind's eye long enough to get it down on paper. And this is a skill that can be improved with practice. The more often you do this, the better your mind will be at retaining an image long enough to put it down on paper. At this point, the bird has flown off, so I'm no longer looking through the telescope. I'm just trying to, as fast as I can, fill in all the details I can remember while it's still fresh in my memory. So this is critical once the bird is gone to put it all down. Now the bird has come back again, so I start a new sketch. Now I'm looking at the bird, looking down to sketch a little bit, looking back at the bird, looking down to sketch, and so on. So I start off with the traditional sort of egg shape, positioned fairly centrally in the page. That's the body. And then I'm just looking and just trying to draw the shapes that I see through the scope a little bit at a time. Initially I'm just trying to block out the main shape and proportions of the bird, so the head, the body, the tail. The wings, or one wing that I can see. I can't actually see its feet because it's turned slightly toward me. And then I start to put in some of the smaller feather tracts, the median coverts, the greater coverts, primary coverts. That will just help me to position the bits of color, if you like, although I'm actually just doing it in pencil. Now the mantle, just a line there separating the mantle from the scapulars. And now I'm going back to the head. Quite possibly at this point the head is turned back towards me, so now I can see it. So usually I'm working on the bits of the bird I can see. If it turns its head away from me, I work on the body. If it turns its head back to me, I start working on the head. And now I'm just putting in the bill and the eye, trying to get the proportions right. One tends to focus on the head a lot in any way, so the details of the head are somewhat critical, so I'm filling that in a bit more detail. Still looking up at the bird and then back down to my paper. Noticing the most obvious field marks, the slightly darker crown and the shaggy crest. Just filling it in, giving it a rough. And then noticing the pattern of the white around the face and the pale brown on the nape. Just very quickly as I can, filling in detail. It's a fairly plain, featureless bird on the upper parts, so I'm just checking each part as I go. Actually, now that I think the bird is now left, so now I'm rapidly trying to fill in all the details that I can remember before I forget them. Once I've done a basic sketch, I then may start to add some brief notes on colours, because I don't have colour obviously on this sketch. So filling in some of the things, for example yellow vent and yellow undertail coverts I put there. Some of the coloration of the upper parts, and I'm also flipping back to a sketch I did earlier, because now the bird has maybe come back and turned itself, and so I can fill in more details that I didn't catch the first time round. So that's it.